We are the insurgents.
And we are back live. Let me just read you some of the excerpts on this right here. As official videographer for the U.S. government, Kurt Sonnenfeld was detailed to Ground Zero on September 11, 2001, where he spent 1 month filming 29 tapes. What I saw at certain moments and in certain places is very disturbing. He never handed them over to the authorities and has been persecuted ever since. Kurt Sonnenfeld lives in exile in Argentina, where he wrote El Perseguido, The Persecuted. His recently published book tells the story of his unending nightmare and drives another nail in the coffin of the government's official account of 9/11 events. Below is an exclusive interview with Voltaire Net. All right, so let's just go through some of the things that this guy has as credentials. Kurt Sonnenfeld graduated from the University of Colorado with studies in international affairs and economics, as well as in literature and philosophy. He worked for the United States government as an official videographer and served as the director's broadcast operations for the Federal Emergency Management Agency. So yet another FEMA whistleblower, this one a voluntary one, because remember, I talk about FEMA officials discussing the molten metal at Ground Zero, and then the debunkers just say it never existed. They just say that they were mistaken. Oh, that must be aluminum from the plane. The video doesn't exist of Ken Holden talking about molten metal from Building 6, even though I have the video. I didn't imagine it or manifest it. It's in Loose Change Final Cut. I mean, give me a break. And then I say, well, one of the heads of FEMA actually said that they had degree temperatures of 2,700 at the scene of the World Trade Center. And then I'm told that that doesn't exist. Some little punk puts up a quote-unquote debunking video. I see it months later. I kind of chuckle to myself because I didn't include it in any of my films. I thought about including it in Fabled Enemies, but I thought to myself, you know what? Let's just stay away from controlled demolition. There's just so much else out there. We've done those films. So it just kind of sat in my computer for a while. And I found the scan, and I put the scan, and sure enough, the head of FEMA in New York, Peter Bakersky, makes the comment that there is a cremation effect at the World Trade Center. Why? Why a cremation effect? Gee, I wonder why. Oh, 2,700 degree temperatures. Bermas 1, debunkers 0. It's almost like that every time. It's really Bermas, 178,126. Debunkers maybe 2 times have made a point about somebody in a bunny suit or something like that. Good for you. Oh, I'm so glad you're so honest with yourself while you viciously attack those who seek the truth. And then won't mention the Peter Bakersky comment. See, it doesn't exist to them. And the kid actually said that I made up the article. I typed it up, I scanned it in, I faked the whole thing. You can see the print of the other side of the newspaper on the article. And then if you type in key words like a sentence string on it, it was republished throughout the country. It was just something that wasn't very known by the majority of the 9/11 truth movement, because there are literally so many things out there, no one person can go through them all. Those are the facts. All right, let's take a call before we go to break, and then we're going to continue to take calls on the other side. Mark in Oregon. Mark, you're online.
Hey, good evening, Jason.
Good evening.
Oh, Jason, I just wanted to mention to you that I think that at this late point in time, at this late stage of the enemy's success here, that it's really important and necessary to consult with and elicit the opinions and suggestions of members of the truth movement who have and or do specialize in the science of publicity.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, let's talk about that on the other side, Mark. Let's talk about how we can be more effective to reach the public. Remember, we're not here to preach to the choir. We got to bring more people in. And sure, we've doubled our audience in a year, but that's not much. We need to triple it in a month. We'll be back after this. It's the Infowarrior. Oh, we need better wipes. We are back. Top of the second hour. It's the Infowarrior. Remember, I've got a little blog over at the Infowarrior.com. If you miss any of the programs, we got a nice little flash player, archives it all. You can listen for 24 hours on demand. And, of course, we have the podcast also in the upper right-hand corner. And we're talking to Mark in Oregon about publicity, how we can use the members in the truth movement that are maybe a part of advertising or they know about public relations to really get motivated and help those that are more apt to activism, to handing out DVDs, to holding screenings of this information. So go ahead, Mark. What do you think some of those ways are? I mean, obviously we have the social networking sites, and they've worked to a limited extent. And we have truthaction.org, we have wearechange.org, and we have a ton of great people out there. But how can we get more momentum, in your opinion?
Jason, Alex really has publicized the facts and the truth of the Infowarrior, all the true conspiracies, through the very viable publicity medium of videos, or would even say movies.
Mm-hmm.
And movies have a tremendous amount of publicity because they break upon the public as a fresh entity.
Mm-hmm.
They're totally unique in the way they're made relative to who made them. And each one is different, and each one tends to have a very great impact because it falls into the area of entertainment. Now, to very possibly take the high esteem that the world's people hold for the recognized leader of the Infowar,
mm-hmm.
and to join Alex's admiration by the world's people to the facts and truth which he has brought to them, and through the means of pervasive and global publicity, finding the proper vehicles, one of which could be a movie, to deal a devastating blow to the enemy this way, because I see it really as a next level and probably the next level. It's as if everything has been set up to go into that level. It just really hasn't been done yet.
Mm-hmm.
But to have a globally released feature movie, film, which projects the facts and the truth of the Infowar to the world's people on a simultaneous basis all at the same time, would create tremendous power of attention. But if it's not a movie, then that is the strategy, is to create that tremendous power of attention, which publicity really is the science of, is creating that attention.
Well, I would say this, Mark, that we try to achieve that with almost every release that we do, and to some extent the Obama deception was able to do that. And for, my plans with Invisible Empire, I'm hoping that we're going to release the full version off the bat through Change the Channel so people can get it in high quality, right off the bat in full so they don't have to go part to part to part, number one. Number two, we're going to release it hopefully on a date. I'm really shooting for this December 24th release date, and we're talking to video editors right now, trying to get them in here this week. I got big announcements about the film on Friday. And although I won't be able to get it into all languages, I am praying to God that, number one, it's good enough at the end, and number one, we distribute it well enough that it is the number one movie on Christmas Day and holds strong throughout the new year, so that people around the globe can translate it, can repost it with the subtitles necessary with their voiceover instead, and possibly have that impact. Because really, we do have a limited time period right now before they completely try to shut down the web through the Cybersecurity Act. And now the Cyber Command Center. That's a great segue into the next segment. I thank you for the call. But yes, the Pentagon has okayed the Cyber Command Center. We knew this when Obama announced it, and the old cybersecurity guy decided to go by the wayside and say, hey, it looks like they're going to spy on everybody. This is really dangerous. Back after this, it's the Info Warrior.